Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to another, what do I always say? Beautiful Monday. And it is a beautiful Monday. I say every Monday is a beautiful Monday. So, welcome back to all of you. Welcome to our live viewers. Welcome to our replay viewers. Welcome to each and every one of you back to the Mary D Talk Show. I know today, I look outside and I go, sometimes we can forget and we take these days for granted because they look good. Especially we live in Southern California, very few bad days. But let's take a moment and not take it for granted, and know that we're blessed. We're blessed to be here. So I'm just gonna take a second just so you can think about that. I don't care what problems you may be dealing with. I don't care what situations, and I say that not that I don't care, but we're all dealing with something. I don't know a person's not dealing with something. So just take a moment to just be thankful. Be thankful. All right, each and every one of you. So we're going to get started with today's show. Before we do, I always like to I start with the book. You guys know how I am. But I'm going to start with our author, and I like to start with her, as many of you know. She is the oldest author from our publishing company, Front Page Publishing, and her name is Dr. Mildred Dalton Henry, and this is her book, From the Ashes I Rise, and she is 89 years young. When I tell you this little lady is funky, she's smart, I tell her, I pray I grow up to be like her. This is my goal in life, to be like her. So those of you want to get excellent read. This is the one. She spent 15 years writing it. 15 years. She came to us, and about 6 months later, her book was published. And you can buy it right there on Amazon. Excellent book. Next, this is a book I always try to show you. This is our son's book. His name is Justin Lowe. This is his book. My Cat is a Spy. And I always showed his book. I try to show everyone's book before I show my books, but I just wanted you to see his book. First children's book. He has written about 4, but this is the only one so far that he's published. My Cat is a Spy for Justin. And it is available on Amazon. Another book that came through our company. This is from Fayette Foster. Really proud of her. And her book is Why is Little Faye So Happy? She's actually written a part 2 to this book. Why is Little Faye So Happy? So this is Fayette's book. Now, this is, and I always say they're all my favorites, but this is one of mine. Stuck in the Elevator, which is a true story. My husband and I were stuck in the elevator in Brazil. So this is our story, you could say. This is inspired by true events. I like to say that, inspired by true events. There you go. Another book. This is for adults. And this was the first book I published for adults. It has, I believe it's like 18 5-stars on Amazon, meaning that people that read it, it's a very easy read, about 30 minutes and you're done. But you're going to learn a lot about how to say no nicely. Say no nicely is something we all have to do, because nobody really likes to hear the word no, but you can say it in such a way that people don't feel offended. That's the key here. How can you say it and you don't hurt people's feelings? It's really, when I say it, it's not always what you say, but how you say it. That's real. It is. Another one is, have you seen a red elephant? Another really I say quite important, but this book is based on repetition for little children. I say ages 2 to about 5, and it's the repetition of what they really like. And next, this is one, as many of you know, for adults. And I didn't show everything, but this is one of my favorite, because this can keep your family. If you own property, it lists all 34 states. Let me put this up. If you own property and and even if you have a will, but you don't have a trust, you want to get this book, Save Your Home from Probate. It tells you how you can use it's literally one sheet, and file it with your deed, and now the home will not go to probate when you pass away. And I know some of you, I've heard people say they don't care about that. If they pass away and the home goes wherever it goes, that kind of thing. But I'm not of that kind of mind. I believe in just being more thoughtful about those kind of things. So I would encourage you, even if you say, well, I would check on whatever you've done, number one. Number two, In California, they've made this until 2035. That's how much they want to use that. So now, ladies and gentlemen, first I'm going to say hi to our guests that are coming on. Before I'm going to say hello, because we do have our wonderful, wonderful guest that's going to be that you'll get a chance to hear today. This wonderful lady that I met that I'm just so excited about, because she affected me. I saw her for like 35, 40 minutes. I'm like, wow. So let me tell you. Okay, first I'm going to say hi to everybody. Hi, who's that? Oh, no sound at her end. Oh, that was me. We got that all cleared up. Let me tell you that now. Richard says, hi, Mary. It was great seeing you and Oliver Saturday at the grand opening of the Civil Rights Museum in Riverside. Hi, Richard. I'm always glad to see you, Richard. And you say, love the picture of NCAA at the luncheon. I believe the purple was hot. Thank you. That's the colors of the organization. It is. And we do hope you're doing, Richard. And Robert Coleman said, hey, love, to be a guest, bulletproof. Hi, Robert. How are you? How are you doing? Okay. We can make that happen, Robert. Okay, now I'm going to read our bio. Oh, Elaine said hi. Then we get started. Hi, Elaine. Hi, Elaine. We're going to get started, though. Thank you for sharing all these fantastic books. Oh, thank you, Elaine. I love it. I am definitely the book person when it comes to books. But I want to share with you about this lovely lady today. Her name is Edwanda White. She's from a small town called Lima, California, and she grew up in Compton. She is a nationally known stand-up comedian, a screenwriter, and a comedy producer. She is the founder of CKE, also known as Clean Comedy Explosion. Already, she has wore more hats talent-wise during the pandemic in 2020. She also became a bona fide singer-songwriter when she wrote Don't Get the Corona, which was a hit song that she wrote to promote awareness about COVID-19, the coronavirus. The popularity of her little funny Corona song ended up getting her lots of attention from very influential people. And because of that particular song, she actually became a recording artist that same year and now has a musical album out called Making Some Changes, which is available on all streaming platforms. As a comedian, she has appeared, listen to this, ladies and gentlemen, B.E.T's Comedy Review, Russell Simmons' HBO's Def Comedy Jam, Comedy Central, Martin Lawrence First Amendment Stand-Up on Starz, Showtime, and at the Apollo. She's been on the Tom Joyner Show, Q Locos, Stand Up and Deliver to popular Latin-based comedy shows. And in 2022, she still tours all over the country doing her hilarious routine and truly loves being a comedian. Also, she is also a freelance screenwriter for many studios and agencies and is currently a regular on Quake's House on I'm saying it wrong, Sirius XM Radio, Channel 96 on Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud network. She is a regular at many of the major clubs in the country and has toured globally for years doing comedy for packed out crowds. She was the opening act for the great late Bernie Mac for many years. Wow. And that tour experience made her very popular with fans and supporters all over the country early on. Years later, she is working on her new album as she's touring the world as a comedian, as a headliner in her own right. She sells out shows and she has even entertained our military troops overseas several times. She was the very first comedian to be voted Comedian of the Year by Black Entertainment Television, as well as being voted Clean Comedian of the Year by the Urban Gospel Alliance and being honored with the Moms Maybe Award for Comedic Excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you, as I go back to she stopped by today to visit. That's really what she came by and spent some time with us. The lovely, very funny Edwanda, I don't want to say it wrong, Edwanda White. I hope I said it right, Edwanda. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did. It's Edwanda White. You said it perfectly. Hey, Mary Welch. How are you, lady?
Fine. I'm so glad you took. I know your schedule is crazy because I remember. But you still, you honored the day I met you and I asked you to come on the show. You didn't even hesitate. So I want to thank you right now for that. You never once blinked. You said, sure. And I was thinking, the lady doesn't even know you. And she still said yes. So that always touches my heart when people do that. So thank you for coming on the show today.
You're welcome. It was your spirit, your energy, your vibes were so good. And I'm a person of my word. If I tell somebody I'm going to do something, I do it. And so here I am. Yay.
Thank you. Thank you. Why don't you share with our audience? Well, before we get started, we had a couple more comments. I always like to acknowledge our audience. We have Charles Radney. Hi, Charles. Hello.
Hi, Charles.
And then we have Gwendolyn. Hi, Gwen.
Hi, Gwendolyn.
They are, we are blessed. I tell you, we have some real troopers here. They're here at every show, and I can't thank them enough because without them, there wouldn't be a show. Let me just be honest. It wouldn't be a show.
Oh, they're gonna have some fun today because I'm not gonna behave.
Well, why don't you share with our audience a little bit about you and how did you get into the entertainment industry? You can just share with them. Okay.
First of all, let me say, Mary, I have never had anybody read like everything on the bio. So I learned some things about myself just now.
Okay.
Wow. I said, wow, she did all that. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, what those
you really read it. Oh my goodness. You guys, if Mary tells you to send her a bio, send her like a short one because she's gonna read like the whole thing. Okay. But anyway, I'm just messing with you, Mary.
No.
Mary, I'm just a fun-loving girl, and I'm a spiritual person. So I am so blessed to have this life. You know what I mean? And your spirit was so great, and I know you write a lot of books. And being a writer, you understand internalizing things and then bringing it out on the page. Yes. Me, I'm the other way. I bring it out like on the stage. And then also being a screenwriter, so I use both sides of my brain at the same time. Yes. And I just love to touch people. And being a spiritual person raised in the church, I believe that every good thing comes from God. And so when He gives you gifts, you're supposed to use them to help people. Heal people, you know what I mean? To heal people, help people. And if you don't do that, then you're just disrespecting the gifts that God has given you.
Right. That's right. I agree. Yes. Tell me, how did you? I know you're a writer, you're a screamer. All of these talents, they have their own discipline and their own creativity. Screenwriting has its own. Being a comedian has its own. How did you tap into each of those?
Okay, first of all, I never, like most comedians, they say, oh, I've always wanted to be a comedian. Mm-hmm. I was very studious. I was very quiet. And my whole family was crazy. Okay. Uncles, aunts, mom, dad, everybody was crazy, loud and, And me, I was in a book all the time. And, actually, I was pre-med. I wanted to be a doctor.
Wow.
And yeah, originally, I really was pre-med. And so, I was in school and college, and I guess all of it just came out. I think I was internalizing it as a kid, seeing all the craziness, taking it in, and God knew better, Yeah. I finished my undergrad. I was going to be working on my MSW later on after I changed majors. Right. And then I was like, I'm going to go into social work or something like that. But God was like, that's not what I have for you over there, little girl. And so I listened to His voice, and here I am. Touring all over the country, making people laugh, and they're crazy enough to pay me for it, girl. What? What are we talking about here? How does this happen?
Well, medical school and comedian. They're not even on the same plane.
Well, I wasn't in medical school. In undergrad, I was declared as pre-med because I wanted to be a doctor. You know what I mean? That's what my goal. I never even said as a kid, ooh, I'm going to be the class clown or anything. Oh, no, I never got in trouble in school or any of that kind of stuff. My mom was a teacher for many years, and I even taught a little bit in Compton Unified School District and stuff because my mother always encouraged all of us to, take the CBES and maybe sub or do something so we'd always have a job. And all my brothers and sisters at one point in time were in the classroom before they started doing whatever they're doing.
Right, right. Well, I can tell you, you're like you said about my energy, your energy, the night that you spoke. Because I remember you got up, at first you were kind of calm, truthfully. And then all of a sudden it started coming out, and then you could tell the audience. I could tell you were feeding off the audience too. So
right, I was backing in because that's a conservative crowd, and I was feeling it out to see who I had in the room. There's certain things that I do. Sometimes the key to life is reading the room. Okay.
Yes.
You have to read the room because everybody's not going to respond the same way.
Right, right.
And you can say one thing to somebody and be really offensive.
Right.
And say something else a different way to another group of people and be praised for it. So I was reading the room is what I was doing. Right. And once I assessed where I was, that's when I relaxed and said, oh, okay. I get it, because I really thought at the event that we were at that it was going to be very pish posh and hoity toity and stiff, but they were not. They were so ready to let their hair down. They were so ready to receive. And once I knew that, I was like, oh, okay. Okay, let's go.
You said I'm home now.
I'm home now. It was like, oh, okay.
No, it was a very, very well attended event too.
Oh, really yeah. I met some amazing people there, including yourself.
Oh, thank you. Well, I know too, the list of where you've toured and who you've toured with is vast. And like you said, opening for Bernie Mac, and he's one of my favorite comedians. It was his untimely passing. That was a shock, to many of us. But I know when you get to know people, as we say, the quote unquote celebrities, you're a celebrity in your own right. You, like you said, you travel the country opening your own shows. How does that feel when you're on stage like that?
It still amazes me that people think so highly of what I do. I don't know, you watched me, so when I turn the switch on, it's just a thing. I don't know. It's a blessing from God. I think it's divine. You know what I mean? So I'm just a reflection of what God puts through me, and I really see it that way. A lot of people think it's them, oh, I'm so great. No, you're not great. Okay. So I look at myself as a vessel, and I just enjoy what I do. I love connecting with people, and I do keep my act very clean. Some people think that if it's clean, it's not going to be funny. Not true, right? You just have to be more clever and choose different vocabulary to relate to the people. So it is more challenging to do it that way. But I did that because of how I was raised. I never want my kids that I ever taught to be, repeating something I said and have vulgar language, or, I don't want my mom to be like, well, don't watch that one because she going to be cursing on that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tell her church members I'm going to be on it because, I never wanted that. So I don't change up. I just do real comedy for real people.
Oh, and I tell this is what I've heard about, and you already know, is the timing. The comedy is one of the hardest things you can do because of the timing. You can say the same joke, but if you don't hit that timing, they may not catch it. They may. Right. That's so important, because I'm gonna tell you, I was what you did. I don't know if you know or not. I was literally doubled over laughing when you did your routine. My stomach was hurting, and I said, and I
didn't know where you were sitting, so I didn't see you until after.
I was behind your husband. We were behind your husband.
Oh, you were with me and my husband.
But I said, and he was enjoying it. I don't know how many times he's heard it, but you could tell he was enjoying it too. See, I didn't know that was your husband. Think about that.
I do different things at different times, and then I create on the spot too. So there were things that he's never heard because I was, referring to the crowd or feeling off of some energy. So it's always a fresh thing for him.
Okay, I could tell he was enjoying himself. But that tells you that is that creativity that's flowing through you. That's and that also means you'll never be stagnant. It'll never be like, you know, like you said, it's always fresh ideas. Something's coming up right on the fly. As you're standing there, something will come to you, hit you, and you'll be able to work with it.
Yeah, you just added kind of like a little spice in between. You know, sometimes I will do the basic routines. You know, I have like maybe 2 or 3 hours of material that I have accumulated over the years. And at different times, I'll have different sets created from those jokes. And I knew specifically what I was going to do because of what the event was.
Right.
So I created that set for that and then added whatever spice I wanted to according to how the crowd was. So it was really a fun and amazing event with some great people, and they really let their hair down, and it was great. I enjoyed myself a lot.
You know, I guess when I was sitting there and I thought, how do you remember all that? That's what I was.
Because I'm crazy.
Because I'm sitting there listening to joke after joke and thinking, how do you? But then I guess too, just like musicians, when they're, you know, performing, they remember all those songs and the order and all that. Or I don't know, I'm thinking they remember. I don't know if it's a paper or something, but just remembering what to say. I'm amazed. I'll say that much.
Yeah, it's like over time, you kind of remember certain things and certain thoughts lead you to the next joke or whatever. Different comedians have their own process. With me, I go in knowing what I'm gonna do. Some people may just do improv, but I've never seen anybody just improv for a whole hour or 30 minutes. So most of them have their own set jokes they're gonna do.
Right. I definitely. Well, I didn't know if you came to share some jokes with our audience or not. I didn't know if you like because
they're still trying to get a comedy set now. You trying to get a comedy set, y'all?
You know what? This is what I have learned. You have to ask. And guess who's
you're right.
This is I'm going back. Okay. See this. I'm going back.
Charles. Yes, you have to know your audience.
We have.
And she thinks she's gonna get a free comedy show. I don't think so. No. Hey, Richard.
You know, a friend of mine said, Mary, can you do the show without laughing so much? That's what
laughter is good medicine. It is. We need it. It's good for your lungs. It's good, older people, younger people, everyone needs to laugh at sometimes. And those people who are not getting enough laughter, they're not living in their full potential. Right. Those people who laugh a lot, they have better spirits all the way around.
Oh, you're right. You're definitely. I agree 1,000%. We have Richard. Hi, Richard. Richard says hello, Miss Spike.
Yeah, I said hi, Richard. Nichols.
And then there's Elaine said, hello, Mary and Edwanda. I'm ready to laugh. See?
I'm ready to laugh too. Mary is gonna make me laugh.
I don't have
Mary, you can ask me anything you want. When you said you wanted me to come on, I was just willing and ready to do whatever you want to do. So whatever you want to ask me, you could just ask me something and then I'll give you a funny response rather than doing a set.
Okay, I'm going down. First, we're going to thank our audience that have comments because Richard Radney says, know your audience. He said that. But guess who's here? We have the president of the African American Attorneys for Inland Empire. Hi, Allison.
Oh, it's Allison. She's the reason. She's the one that brought us together.
I know.
Hey, Allison.
She's coming
on. We met at your amazing event.
Yes, we did. We really did. So Allison said she's coming on the show too.
Yay. Oh, yes, definitely. To me, I support Black women. I support just people who are in positive spaces and energy, and that's why I'm here. So you have an opportunity to ask me whatever you want, Miss Mary, and then I'm going to rapid fire for you.
Okay. And then have Sandra Nicholson. She says, hi, Mary. Thank you for the invite. You're welcome.
Hey, Sandra. People in the comments can ask questions too, and we just answer them.
Yep, we can. And then she said, let's get a set. This is what Gwendolyn said.
Well, I have flyers up on my Instagram, and you can come and see me and get the tickets. Yeah.
And then we have Glenn said, she said, she got yoga last week. We had the yoga dude on last week.
Oh, how wonderful.
And we did chair yoga. in there. It was really good. He really did a good job.
Yeah,
Very
I saw
good.
the flyer. He's such a handsome guy.
Is it and really? And his disposition is so calming when you're around James.
Hey,
He's
that's
very.
my aunt.
That's your aunt.
Yeah. Is
Hi,
that
Eva.
that's my aunt? Hi, Aunt Eva. How are you?
She just said, "Hi, I'm Aunt Eva."
She
Hi,
said
Aunt
Auntie
Eva.
Eva is here.
All right, Aunt Eva's
That's
in the
my
house.
mom's sister. Hey now.
I know. That's. Oh, I'm so glad you can make it. I am so glad to see you. Thank you for your support. And Sandra Nicholson says, "Hi, Allison." And Allison said, "Yes, come on."
Yes. So people are just getting it live.
Yes.
All
This
right.
is
So rapid fire, you can ask me whatever you want.
how did you know comedy was the route to take for you? How did you know? This is from
You know
Sandra.
what? Like I say, I never woke up and said I want to be a comedian. It was God that directed me. Somebody needed a host for a reception because their comedian did not show up. And me, in my spirit, wanting to help somebody and being the one like, oh, you don't have anyone else to do it. I went ahead and hosted the event, bringing up, you know how you announce to people at the reception,
Mhm.
today it's so and so. So and I was just, basically clowning and talking about the bridesmaids' dresses and what they had on. And people were just cracking up, laughing, talking about the uncles and this, that, and the other. And there was somebody there that actually owned a comedy club that was dating one of my relatives. And they were like, are you a comedian? And the rest is history.
Wow.
Yeah, look at God, right?
I mean, you didn't even know it was in you then.
Well, I didn't even know what comedy was. I was just always I was a sarcastic person or lighthearted person, and I would say things a funny way all the time. But I didn't think that was a job. I didn't know anything about comedy, or, I always thought like, oh, you had to be like Red Fox or, somebody. I never thought that just talking about your life and what happens to you, that anyone would even care or think that was funny. Later on, I found out that comedy is life and
Yeah.
life is comedy.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
Sandra.
you, Sandra. That's a great question.
Yes, and this one's from Allison. Edwanda, can you tell us about your first time on stage? And I think she meant probably the first time you get paid.
Did real actual stand up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? When I did when I did actual stand up, it was because somebody said that they wanted me to get in a comedy competition. And it was $50. You would not believe it. It was $50 and a case of Old English 800. That was the prize. I don't really drink like that, but I don't know if you guys even know what Old English 800 is. But it was called the Old English 800 Comedy Competition. And I didn't have any material, but it was only a 5-minute set. And all I did was talk about how bad the comedians were in front of me because I didn't have any jokes. So I talked about their outfits and their hair and whatever. And those were my jokes. Okay. And I won.
Wow.
And so the very first time that I performed comedy, I was a professional because I got paid because I won $50. Yes. And that's when I knew that, you know what, if I could get $50 for just talking about this girl and what dress she had on, I'm in. Sign me up.
And as they say, she said, the rest is history.
And the rest is history right there. So
that is wonderful.
Yeah. So, and then after that, I went to watch people. I started watching like comedians that were because I started to study and I wanted to know how to really do it. And I watched the best and I said, I can do that. I was like, this is how I want to spend the rest of my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that had never happened at that wedding, that one, opportunity that opened up for you.
Yeah, that's what the guy that owned the club, he was hosting that event.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all connected. Yeah, because I wouldn't have nobody would just walk up to you on the street and be like, do you want to be in a comedy competition if you're
Right.
not a comic? So
Right.
he was like, we're having this thing. It's
Mhm.
several weeks, and each week, if you make it to the next round or whatever, whatever,
Mhm.
whatever. And did you want to do it? And I was like, no, I'm not really a comedian. He said, well, if you win, you get $50, And back
Mhm.
then, this was like the 90s, right? $50 was like what right now you pay $50 and put it in your tank and your gas light is still on. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like $50 is nothing. But back then, as a young girl, I
Yeah.
was like, if I could probably win. And I went and I watched the first rounds, and
Uh-huh.
I was like, I could beat them in my mind. I was like that. I was like, is that comedy? Like, okay, I know I can beat them. And I got into
Wow.
the second round and I won. Yes, ma'am. I sure did.
Wow. Good for you. Good for you. We have a
That's a black woman's determination to where you look at someone else and say, I can do that.
well, Richard Nichols is saying, Richard says, what did you like about substitute teaching in Compton? And do you do high school? Did you make the students laugh?
Yes. You know what? I love teaching. My mother was a teacher in Linwood Unified School
Mhm.
District for like 40 years before she retired. And
Mhm.
then I loved subbing. I still, you know what I mean? When my schedule permits, I would still do it. The
Oh,
kids were amazing, and the kids in Compton are so awesome because their lives are so funny. Their lives, their parents, how they dress, how they think, and they
right.
would ask me some of my material that I use is from
Uh-huh.
kids from Compton. You know what I mean? Like the kids
Okay.
would be like, you tell them you're from Compton, and they're like, "Oh, are you a Crip or a Blood?"
Uh-huh.
You'll be like, "What? What on earth?" Like it's like, excuse me,
Yeah.
everybody in
Mhm.
Compton does not carry a gun, and they're not, it's hilarious. But yes, if I was subbing, I would not do high school because too many kids in high school, they know who I am. And if they know that you're a comedian, you'll have no control over the class. You cannot control a learning environment when the
Yeah.
kids are looking at you in a certain way.
Right.
That's why I would do probably middle school and under because none of them they don't know who you are. They're not on Instagram. They don't
Right.
recognize your face or
Mhm.
anything like that.
Yeah.
But high school,
They know.
they
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
once one person, oh, and then they can just pull up your clip. Like,
Yeah.
and so that's also a dangerous thing because they always think like, oh, she's been on TV, or oh, I know who that is, and they think you have money or
Right.
anything like that. So no high school right now.
Okay.
Middle school, first, second, third, the little pumpkins, the little sweet pies.
Oh, I
That's
tell
a
you,
great question, Richard. I love
it's
teaching, and it was always fun. And I had fun with the kids because that's what I needed when I was younger. I
yeah.
needed a teacher that was fun and was engaging, and I make every subject fun. And I was
Um,
highly regarded in the
that's
district.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, is your mom retired or she's still teaching?
No, no, she retired in like 93 or 4.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Her, I tell
Mhm.
you. Well, I know we have other our audience questions.
Oh
Confidence
boy.
is what she meant to say. I think that's what she was saying. She's correcting that. And then she says, Sandra Nichols says, wash hands.
Wash your hands, wash your hands. Yeah, for sure. You have to wash your hands constantly when you're
Hands.
working with younger kids.
That's true.
And
Because
I
they
never worked in any other district. LA Unified wanted me there, but I wanted to do Compton because I was raised in Compton, and I didn't want to do Linwood because my
uh-huh.
mother taught in Linwood, and I didn't want to be teaching with her former co-workers or students. So I chose
Oh,
Compton so I wouldn't have any conflicts.
good for you. This
Yeah.
it says Allison says, is comedy your full-time job and how can you make it into a full-time career?
Actually, it is. And actually I do stand-up comedy, and I'm a writer. Also now a singer-songwriter. So I've written, many jingles and things like that for commercials, do voiceovers, and everything that I do is basically in the industry. And also, I do tutoring and writing clinics for our African American students because I am a writer as a career. I feel like that's something that needs to be done to give back in our community because a
Right.
lot of us, we know how to speak, we know how to talk, we know how to express ourselves. But where the money is in the written word. And a lot of us don't know how to express our thoughts in writing. And so I
Right.
teach our kids how to use different phrasing, how to get better grades in their writing prompts and things like that.
All right. That's
Yeah.
excellent.
So I
You
really
did what?
want our kids, our black and our brown kids, to be able to speak well, hold your
Mhm.
head up high, and also write a letter if something bothers you. Write a letter if you like something. Express yourself in that written word. And there's power in that. And they need to know that.
I agree 1,000%. I think you
Yes.
don't think I know. I've written complaining letters to different things, and I've seen it change. I've seen from with my own two eyes. It does matter when you can
Yeah.
write legibly and explain your situation. It matters. It
Yeah,
does.
we used to laugh, when we were kids. If a person who wasn't an African American, I'm gonna write a letter to my congressman.
Yeah.
We'd make a joke. Oh, it's serious, okay? It's not a game.
No.
That letter is being considered. Something's gonna be done.
Yeah.
I have gotten things from stores, from Macy's, from different things, from writing letters. They give you free stuff and everything because someone is reading that letter
Yep.
that you are disgruntled about some service or something,
Hmm.
or when you praise an employee, people have been promoted. There's
Yep.
power in that. And our
It
kids
is.
need to know to express
Yep.
themselves, even if it's, Mommy, I love you. Thank you for the lunch.
Yep.
Things like that on the lower levels. They don't understand the written word is just as important as the spoken word.
It is. But I agree with
If not more. If not more.
what's the saying? The pen is mightier than the sword. I think that's the
Yeah.
saying. It
Yeah.
is powerful. I don't think, like you said, freebies, changing things in our, whether it be our government, whatever the situation is, when you put it in writing, what my
Yeah.
English teacher said, if you don't want to see it again, don't write it down. That's what they, and I thought,
Right.
but if you do want to see it again, write it down. So
Exactly.
that's for
Exactly.
sure. And then
So
we have Elaine, she has her comment is, Edwanda, do you do any trainings for persons who want to do clean comedy? And if so, it's needed.
you know what? I don't. People always ask me, why don't I do a class or whatever? I don't think that you can teach clean comedy per se. You can probably teach comedy, and if that's their experience that they want
Mhm.
to do it in a clean way,
Right.
then maybe you can, leave certain words out or certain phrases or things like that.
Hmm.
I don't think I can train anyone because comedy is subjective. What's funny
Hmm.
to one person may or may not be funny to another person, and the way your life is. If your
Hmm.
parents speak to you in a certain way, I think you should show that because that's your life.
Right.
My parents didn't use profanity toward me. We
Right.
went to church and they didn't, but
Mhm.
there are some people who had parents that did that. And
Right.
people can relate to that and say, oh, my mother did that too. Ooh, some people
Right.
will be like, oh, my mama cursed me out. And in my mind, I'll be like, wow, like your mother cursed you out, because my
Mhm.
mother wasn't that way. Now she
Right.
blessed me out. She blessed me out now. But she ain't cursed me. Same thing. You didn't want it. Okay. You did not want that. Some people know what I'm talking about. Hallelujah. Now she blessed you out, but she didn't curse you out.
Right.
So it
Right.
depends on your experience. Can it be taught? Yes. Should somebody be taught clean comedy? I don't think that's possible. I think it's just a matter of taking out certain words and knowing the room and respecting other people's space to not hear the language they don't want to hear.
Right. Right.
You know?
Well, I can tell you, my parents were like your parents. I cannot ever think of either one of my parents saying a curse word. Can you believe that? My
Mm-mm.
entire life. If that's hard for me to. Now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think they made a point of not. I'm not saying they didn't say it, but they made sure it wasn't where I could hear it.
Yeah, my mother didn't, and my grandmother didn't either. So
mine either. That was a big. Are they from the
not a
South?
whole lot.
Is your family from the South?
Yeah, they're from Louisiana, a little town called Frierson, Louisiana.
And see ours.
And I have family in Shreveport and Bossier City area now.
Okay, ours was from Mississippi, a little town called Jonestown. And
Okay.
if you blink, you will miss it. So,
Right.
but beautiful town and beautiful people. I can tell you that. And we have, let me see. Okay. And Richard, he has a question. Richard's question is, what is the best thing about Compton?
You know what? The best thing about Compton are the people. A lot of times we get a stereotype when someone is from Compton or Linwood and they see the movie Straight Out of Compton or whatever. Everyone that lives in Compton is not that way. We have so many sweet and law-abiding people that work hard and they pray over their kids, and they're really amazing people. You only hear about the ones um you hear about all the sensationalism about, oh, this gang member or whatever. People can get killed everywhere, and I'm tired of the stereotype that people from Compton are a certain way. We have a very, very high population of brown people and black people in Compton and Linwood, and many of them, I would say most of them, are very amazing, smart, law abiding, tax paying people. Right. All of them are not gangbangers that are gonna, take the gold out of your mouth or whatever. People from other states who have never been to Compton always be like, "You're from Compton," as if they need to be scared. As if I'm not, you know what I mean? As if I'm gonna be like, "Oh, I'm about to go up north and get me some freedom," "Oh, I can't read that. What is that?" They literally think that. And it's not true. There are people with degrees. There are people who have doctor in front of their name that are there.
Yeah. I know my girlfriend, we were friends for years. Unfortunately, she passed on, but her brother was the city attorney in Compton for years.
See?
LeGrand Clegg. I don't know if you know LeGrand. He was a city
attorney.
Not
by the name, no. Not by the name.
But that was so, and her family they're from Compton also. So I learned a lot, like you said, law abiding, just beautiful people, beautiful community. But it's that unfortunate that like the sensationalism of the movies.
Well, I'm not saying that those things don't exist, because they do. Let's not. Yeah, but that's not all it is. And there are more law abiding people who are never going to harm you in life, who will cook you a home cooked meal. I mean, we have fruit trees, we have apple trees, we have lemon trees, we have palm trees in Compton. So it's not a whole lot of, people think that it's not like that, but it's actually in some areas. There's some really nice areas there that people don't know because they've never been there.
Correct.
People, we have rancheros there. We have people who have ranches and ride horses. Do you realize that in Compton people ride horses down the street?
Wow. No, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know. I must admit, the things you learn.
Yeah. Houses with full lots and acres around them, where people ride their horses around their homes in Compton, over there behind Greenleaf. And anybody who knows what I'm talking about, over there by the college, and we have our own college, we have our own airports. You name another city that has all of that, they don't have it, and that's why they want it back. And when you look at our city now, you look at where I was from. When you look down the street, you walk down the street, you're seeing Chrissy and Davy riding down the street, walking their dogs. Why? Because they're buying all the property there.
Wow. I tell you, I know too. Isn't that the Williams sisters? Aren't they from Compton?
They're from Linwood, Compton. Yeah.
Okay. I know that you hear about when I saw the movie. I think it was that area, definitely that area.
They lived there briefly, yes. And one of their tennis courts, they came back to it. and did like a symposium for the kids or whatever. I won't claim to know Venus or Serena. I don't know them. I didn't know when they lived there or whatever. But yes, they are from Linwood and Compton area.
All right. We have
So
this you
good
real
things come out of Compton, and good things and good people are in Compton. And I want to change that narrative of the how people see it.
right.
So yeah,
Well, you're putting it out there. You're putting it
yeah, I
there.
just put it out there.
For sure. We have a comment from Richard says, what I like about Compton is the people. The people take care of their lawns. That's what Richard
Yeah,
said.
some people do. Yeah, some people really do. You know,
Uh,
you'll look at some lawns and you'll be like, wow. And they don't have gardeners, they do it themselves. They plant
wow.
roses and immaculate yards. They watering and water. But now that we have the restriction or whatever, I guess everybody's grass is probably gonna be brown. I haven't been over there in a minute, but I'm going and it's gonna be all good. So, but I won't check. He is right though. He is right.
Okay. All right. And we have Oliver. Oliver is the executive producer of the show, and he's also my husband. And he says, hello, Edwanda. Welcome to the show. You're awesome when I first saw you, and you're the best out there. Continued success.
Oh, thank you so much, Oliver. That's a great compliment. I appreciate it. And it was really great meeting you at that event. It was an amazing event. And I hope to see you at some others really soon.
I tell you, we will. You will. And Elaine is saying, our Louisiana parents knew how to, quote unquote, bless us out without saying a curse word to us. Besides, the look, quote unquote, handled a lot of it too, which is true. Love that you're doing writing skills with our youth.
Thank you so much, Elaine. I appreciate it a lot. And yes, we know about getting blessed out. And you get that look. Ooh, that's all you needed. You didn't even need to say anything else. That's right, Elaine. She's from the old school, Louisiana parents.
That was it. It was the look was almost as bad as getting the spanking or
the look.
That look was like you need to sit down and be quiet and I don't hear anything else from you. No, that was it.
Yeah, I was from the old school where they had like in church, you couldn't even chew gum. You chew gum, you're gonna be like, give me that gum.
Yeah. Because
that's old school.
I didn't realize the reason they did that, kids pop the gum. That's why they would pop it. And then I remember hearing it one day and I said, and they went straight to them too and said, take the gum out. It wasn't that we were chewing gum, it's that popping.
Yeah, I never understood like why we couldn't chew gum. I didn't understand that. I mean, they don't do that now. You go somewhere, they just chop, they don't care anymore. But back in the day, we could not chew gum in church.
And you know what it was too? They would put it underneath the pews and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've found quite a bit under there. Probably no, just kidding.
That's why they said no gum.
Right, I can imagine that would be a problem.
That's for sure. Well, let me ask you, coming up, do you have any local shows regionally or in the LA area or Long Beach area, anywhere near that any of our audience can come see you?
Yeah, I do. I had some really great shows and recently, and I just want to thank everybody for coming out. I perform a lot at the Bellflower Comedy Club. It's called the Stand Up Comedy Club. We just did a show this past weekend. It was sold out. It was a great show. Just did the Laugh Factory, which is in Hollywood on Sunset or whatever. And coming up, I just got my new tour date. So I'm going to be in different people's states or whatever. I'm going to do San Antonio and Dallas and Portland and Seattle and a little bit of the Bay Area, Sacramento, San Francisco, Oakland. So those flyers will be up on my Facebook as well as my Instagram. In town, we're doing Fly Poets, and Fly Poets is a showcase where we have an amazing lineup of poets, and then there's always one comedian. And this coming month, November 4th, I will be the guest comedian at Fly Poets. So many of you guys who follow that, it's really an amazing show produced by John Hensley. So November 4th, Saturday, remember that Fly Poets is coming, and I will put that on my Instagram as well as my Facebook, and that's going to be in Hollywood November 4th. I will put the out of town dates as well as the in town dates so that you can see those and you can see which ones you would like to go to.
All right. I'm right. I'm putting as soon as you're talking, and I'm right. I'm typing.
Oh, you're typing? Okay. I
I
can't
put
see
it
the
in.
chat, so I don't know. You
To say,
got some
I'll
good
put it
questions. I didn't know how long I was gonna be here. I'm just staying, Mary. You said whenever you want me. Yeah,
no,
fly to us in Hollywood. Yeah, she put it
I'm
there.
into November the
So be
4th.
sure you catch that show. It's gonna be an awesome one. I have more before then. Halloween and different things that I don't celebrate Halloween, but they have different shows during that time because it's festival time for a lot of people. So I'm gonna be doing some shows and I'll put those flyers up as well.
Okay. So those of you that would like to get in touch with her, you can go to your website, and your website
The
is
best way is to you can look me up on anything. You can Google me at Edwanda White, EDWONDAWHITE. But on Instagram is where I'm mostly I like to play. And so you can go there and it's at Edwanda's World.
oh,
EDWONDASWORLD at Edwanda's World. But if you Google me or you type in Edwanda White, all of those will come up. Everything, IMDb, everything's gonna come up.
um,
So the flyers will be up on Facebook. Videos will be up on TikTok and all the streaming platforms.
all right. Well,
Yeah.
I know. Well, let me say this. Are there any final words you have for our audience about? Let me say, for one thing, you followed it. This was a dream, I think, because it wasn't your original plan.
It wasn't.
So, how do you get people to follow their dreams? What would you encourage them to do to follow their dreams?
I want to say if something is in your heart, whether you want to write a book like Mary does, or you want to do stand up, or you want to be a screenwriter, if it's in your heart, there's a reason why it's in your heart, and don't let it go. Don't let someone else talk you out of it because they were talked out of theirs. Your destiny is there, and if it's in your heart, it's what God wants you to have. And so I want to tell you guys also, I never thought I would be a singer, even though I used to sing in church when I was a little girl, and I have a whole album out. Who would have thought I would even be a recording artist or a writer or any of this? And this is my life, and uh never, ever let anyone stop you from what you want to do. You're not going to just wake up and have your dream be realized, but you cannot realize your dream if you're still asleep.
Wow, 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 wow. Because I
Wake
know
up,
you said,
wake up and make it happen. I've had
yeah,
ups and downs, Mary. I've thought about like, oh boy, I'm maybe I need to just go ahead and just teach or get a counseling credential and teach in the schools or whatever. And God wouldn't let me do it. He's like, that's not for you. This is what I have for you. And during the pandemic, when I literally thought it was over because they just really shut everything down, no, I couldn't go to the set. I couldn't do any writing,
right,
nothing. All the studios were gone. I'm thinking, if I'm not a comedian or a writer, what am I?
right,
Well, guess
right.
what? I'm a real woman with heart, and I had something to say. And that's when I used my social media and started getting out there another way. And it created a whole new voice and put me at a whole new level. You know what
Wow,
I'm saying?
I do understand.
Yeah, it changed
Yeah,
everything for me. I wasn't even using social media at all. And it forced me to do that because in order to stay relevant, you're talking about yourself, you're doing videos, you're creating content, you're reaching
right,
people you had never thought of reaching before. And God put it together. And when the now that we're coming out of the pandemic,
mm-hmm.
it's just increased my territory by leaps and bounds. And if it is
Oh,
in your heart, you can do it. And
well, I know.
open your mouth and ask, like what Mary does. She asks for what she wants. She may not get it. She may not always get it, but she will ask.
I will.
She will
Yeah,
ask. And
yeah.
me, I don't ask a whole lot, but I do receive when God is speaking. when he says, I got you, I believe him. And so I
I
just jump out on faith and I just do me. And it's just a blessing to meet people like you, to talk to everybody who is in this chat right now, everybody who's on here. I don't know who's on here, but
don't either.
somebody is going to listen to this and be
Yes.
blessed. They're
Yes.
going to have their dream realized. They're going to be closer. The more you believe it, the closer you are to it. Period.
Wow.
So guess what? Never stop believing that it can happen.
Whoa, I tell you, touching my heart, because I even having the show was I was literally shaking the first time I hit the go live, and my son was on. This was a few years ago now on Periscope, and I remember I didn't know he didn't know I was going to go live, and I didn't know he would come on. But what it showed me, I had to get over the fear. I was so afraid of this. I was afraid of the unknown. And I look back now, I don't even know what I was afraid of, because I'm on every week now, and I've been a blessing. Been over 2 years, and only been off one day, and that was for Juneteenth. And I said, and every single week, God has blessed us with a guest like yourself, a wonderful. So I mean, people come on, and I'm shocked sometimes at the guests that come on. But I'm just like, wow. So I know this is definitely of God. Definitely.
Even when I logged on today, you still seem surprised that I really did come. That's what you're saying.
You know what I've learned?
She was gonna do it.
Yeah, no, because you never know. And
Right.
remember coming out, we had technical difficulties that people
Yeah. But we worked it out right before. Look at that. See, God is, like I say, God was already ready for us. He already knew what was gonna happen.
It's true. It's true.
1 minute before, and we're like, we got it.
What? Because
Literally.
we came on, and we're just behind the scenes for like almost 20 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden popped right in. I said, okay. But I had to learn, you don't get upset when things aren't going your way. It took me a lot to understand that. Just calmly move through it. Don't get frazzled. But and I think the reality, that's how you do in life. Just kind of go with the flow. Let's go with the flow. But I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your schedule today. I really, really appreciate you coming on the show. We will be going to your show because we're gonna follow you. As soon as I get off, I'm gonna do a follow on Instagram and let you know we'll be there. And then we have she says, your aunt said, walk in his plan. Thank you. Thank you,
Aunt. Thank you, Aunt Eva. She lives in the Inland Empire. She is a beautiful lady. Yes, if you see her, she's so cute.
Oh,
I love my aunt.
Oh.
Yeah, walking God's plan. Thank you, Aunt Eva. And she's been with me from day one to now. She's seen me grow and have my ups and my downs. And this is definitely an up time for me. Right. And I'm just so grateful. I'm just so grateful.
Well, this is Eugenia Robertson says, enjoy your show. Edwanda, I'm glad because I'm good friends with your Aunt Eva.
Hi, Eugenia. Hi, Sister Eugenia Robertson. How you doing? I think that's from New Hope in San Bernardino.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I can tell you welcome New Hope in San Bernardino.
Yeah.
Oh, I know a lot of church members from New Hope. I mean, that is one of the largest.
That's my my aunt's church.
Oh, is it? Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, welcome to both of you. We're so glad you're here. The show broadcasts from Riverside, so we're next door neighbors. So we're right there in the IE. So thank you all for coming to the show. All studio audience. We also thank you for being here, for taking your time to be a part of the audience today. We appreciate you. We appreciate Edwanda for coming on and spending time. I said it wrong. Apologies. But I would tell you, you are so appreciated. Your energy is definitely contagious. Just keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on and letting us laugh. And now we have all this too. We said, first, we have Allison said, thank you, ladies. Thank you, Allison.
Thank you, Allison.
They're going to cut us off.
Thank you, Yvonne Page.
Bye, Bonnie. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week. All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Bye-bye.